Oh my god, Pokemon Snap! Holy crap! I did not see this coming. It's literally, I just woke up like 3 minutes ago. It's the only part I've watched. It's the only part that matters to me. I don't care about the rest. Oh my god. I never thought this day would happen.
I mean, obviously neither did I, because when we did that prediction discussion, I said, it's not going to be a lot. I'm mostly going to be focusing on Pokemon Armor, maybe some other minor things, which I would be correct on. Nothing else here is really that exciting in the grand scheme of things. It's like, oh, that's kind of neat. But, you know, we've predicted Pokemon Snap how many times now? Could this be the time? Could this be the time? So you're welcome for not predicting it for once, saying, it's, you know, here's the notorious, like, could be a Pokemon Snap sequel. Again, you're welcome.
Wow. That's one way to work around it. John?
This looks like the best game ever.
Ever, yeah.
It's so
good.
Up. Like, the original Pokemon Snap is one of my favorite N64 games, and it's a game that my fiance grew up with. So when this was announced, I just shrieked to the other room, and we just both geeked out over this trailer. It looks so good. And
it looks amazing.
It does, and they're catching up on 7 generations of Pokemon. Well, the first Pokemon Snap was just Gen 1, and I think there are only 54 Pokemon in that game. So they're covering so many bases here, and it's just stunning seeing the Pokemon animated like this and looking more alive than in any other Pokemon game.
Yeah, straight up. Pokemon Snap was quite the looker back in its day, and I'm glad to see this game continuing that tradition, because this looks heads and shoulders above above Sword and Shield.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, no, to be fair, this is just like, it looks like it's on rails again. So, you know, they can go a little bit more intensive with the graphics and make it look good. But
I mean, to be fair, Sword and Shield could look better than it did as is anyway.
Yeah, good point.
This looks fantastic. The water scenes, oh my god. This looks so freaking... I'm watching it right now, and I'm just, like, speechless. I might still be dreaming. Am I dreaming, guys? I just woke up. I might still be in bed for all I know.
Nope, you've died and gone to heaven.
This game in a modern landscape makes so much sense, too. Like, Pokemon Snap in the age of Twitter? It's going to be a social phenomenon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's even part of the trailer where you just see a series of photographs, which absolutely is going to be huge on social media. I mean, it's interesting, in an era where, as a gameplay mechanic, photos have taken a backseat. Like, it seems like that hasn't... Because there have been games over the years that had photos as an actual gameplay mechanic, but that's taken a backseat and became more of just a social thing, where games have photo modes now, like Uncharted or Mario Odyssey, or even Breath of the Wild to an extent. So it's nice to see that they're actually bringing it back to the forefront, properly making a photo-based game in the social media era. It's going to be an amazing time.
Andre's brain is shutting down. Error.
I am error. Seriously.
I love the sense of scale as well. Like, you can really tell how big every Pokemon is, which is something that Sword and Shield kind of got rid of, because every Pokemon's kind of scaled to be around the same size. But here you see Pichu and I think Grookey or Scorbunny at one point just sort of hanging out on top of another Pokemon, and you can just tell how big each and every one of them are. And that scene when Wailord comes out of the ocean, like, my god.
Oh yeah, it's big. And the crazy thing, I love the interaction between the Pokemon. You don't get a ton of it, of course you have the sleeping bits, but my favorite scene in this entire trailer is the Pidgeot that just comes down and swoops up and carries off a Magikarp. I'm like, okay, that Magikarp's dead, cool. You know?
That's right.
More evidence that Pokemon eat Pokemon, which, yeah, that makes sense.
It's funny that just a few days ago in our review, Steve has been saying that The Last of Us 2 is an early Game of the Decade contender. Steve, shove it! This is the true Game of the Decade contender right here. Oh my god, I can't believe... I literally never thought this day would come. I never thought... I can't believe it. I'm in shock right now.
Andre's going to learn so many Pokemon names.
Oh yeah, this is the time.
Well, at least a 40 that'll be in the game.
You say that, but there's a lot here.
There are a lot of Pokemon in here. I love one little detail too. When Pikachu eats an apple, he sort of uses both hands and slowly munches it. When Blastoise picks one up, he does it one-handed. So it's like they're giving each Pokemon like specific apple-eating animations, which is crazy. But yeah, you gotta imagine how many Pokemon are actually going to be in this, because they cut 100 out of the original one, and now we have like 900 Pokemon. So how many are going to make the cut in this game?
they're finally going to do the full 151. That's it.
Yeah. No, I have a feeling it's going to be 200 to 300. I'm going to say.
I was going to say I think they'll break 200 on this. I think we'll get between 200 and 300. I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got to cover each generation as well. So I guess there'll be a handful from each one. So maybe 30 from each generation.
How many environments are we expecting? We see. I have no idea. I think we're doing an analysis on this. We have to.
Yeah. Right now, I think there's definitely a sea-based one, and maybe a beach one that's kind of connected to it. Hard to say, and then a more forest one.
When the trailer first started, I thought it might even be a remake because there's a scene where Pikachu's on the beach eating an apple, and it looks extremely similar to the first game. But then as it goes on, it gets way more expansive.
Yeah, you have a Lapras. I think it's a Lapras as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there are scenes that evoke the original. Well, the whole thing evokes the original. But yeah, I thought that too at first. I'm like, is this just a remake? Which I would still be fine with. But no, this seems far more ambitious. Yeah, I just saw the Blastoise eating the apple. That's great. Just shoving it in.
Yeah, I really do think this is only 2 stages, and the levels go on a little bit longer, which might mess with the sort of replay value. Like if the stages goes on longer, it's like I just need this one shot of this one Pokemon. That brevity is a nice thing, but who knows? And we do know that we're not playing as Todd Snap this time. This is a brand new character.
I will say right at the end of the trailer, we get a little montage of pictures that might show other stages. Like there's a Hoot Hoot at night at one point. So I don't know, maybe there's like a night and day system that have different Pokemon come out.
There could be.
I was just going to ask.
There's sundown in here. We're kind of doing analysis as we're watching this over and over.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that too, John. That's my thought, is that there actually might be a day and night system, because that's what a great way to get more mileage out of your existing levels to actually give you, well, I guess to let you choose what time of day to visit a level, or unless it will be even crazier, there actually is a proper day/night cycle, and that's just dependent on like which that's just tethered to whichever not tethered I should say, but whichever level you choose happens at whatever time it actually is in game time. Or maybe what if it's tied to your in-game clock actually? Animal Crossing style.
I don't see them doing that. I feel like it's going to be one of those things you choose.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. But like the original Pokemon Snap was pretty short. You can finish the entire thing in under 3 hours if you're just plowing through it. But there's a lot of secrets in there. But I would imagine, seeming as there's a higher scale, there's more Pokemon, there's seemingly a day and night system, I've got to imagine this is going to be a lot more expansive than the first game.
I would think so. Although I will say, the fact that new in the title is the only part I don't like about this.
Yeah. I hope they change the name before the end.
Why would you do that?
I hope they change the name before the release.
Oh, they're not. Especially with how well it worked for Mario in terms of sales, there's no way they're changing the name.
Yeah.
It's new Pokemon Snap, so... But yeah, I'm excited for this. I can't wait. I'll probably be at least helping with the analysis, and I'm stoked for this. Do we have a release date?
No.
This is literally the only part of the trailer I've seen. No release date.
We know that Bandai Namco is developing this though.
Oh wow, did not know that. My guessing is it's not this year.
No, I don't. I mean, maybe this year, but I kind of doubt it. I mean, it would make for a good holiday title. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think. It could be for this year, but maybe they don't want to say that because of what's going on in the world right now. So maybe it's like a get out of jail free card.
I hope it is. I truly hope it is. But my thought is that that is true. We are in like unprecedented times, and maybe they just don't want to commit. So it would be a great. Well, it'd be a great anytime title. I'd play it literally whenever it comes out, and I won't care what's going on.
Yeah. One thing I'm really excited for is sometimes you can see the camera kind of bopping around, and hopefully that means there's gyro. Because the original control scheme's good, but it's kind of tricky to aim at times. So being able to just move the controller around, too much.
You're touching a far larger point here, John, without realizing it. This needs Labo VR support. There's a freaking camera.
Of course you mentioned that.
Well, of course, there's a freaking camera. It comes with a camera. You can zoom in and out. You can actually feel the tactile sensations of the zoom. It only makes too much sense. This has to have. Can you imagine the level of immersion using that? I said before, Labo VR was made for this, Derek.
I mean, Pokemon Snap was made for the Wii U controller. controller. Didn't happen.
Well,
so
yes,
yeah, it makes sense to add
true.
this extra mode for all 6
because-
people who have Labo VR.
Because they were waiting for the better system for it. Clearly. The camera is so perfect. There's even levels in the game already that are camera-esque with the bazooka, where you are on a vehicle, and it felt like Pokemon Snap, except you were shooting animals in a different sense, rather than with a camera. So please have VR support. Oh my god, that's all I want.
I want to say one thing in the montage at the end. There are pictures in both 4:3 ratios and 16:9 ratios. So it seems like we're going to have like different kind of lenses to be able to put on our camera. And maybe even have like some sort of filters, like being able to adjust the focus. That would all be really cool stuff.
That'd be a good way to upgrade it. As you get the points, you unlock better cameras and so forth. Yeah, that's a good way to extend it.
Oh, that's a good one. You give you like better zoom or something, or I mean, that was kind of there was kind of things like that in the original where you would upgrade not your camera specifically, but your ability as you went through the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, just imagine
the apples, you get the pest balls, you'll be able to zoom around quicker.
Just imagine a camera filter so you can see ghost Pokemon. And so you go back through all the old levels, and all of a sudden all these ghost Pokemon are actually around.
Yeah, I think you're kind of touching on something. Yeah, like I think with the possibility of a day/night cycle, with the concept of like a ghost camera, which again this is all speculation.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to find ways to really wring out as much as possible out of these environments, because one of the complaints about the first game was it was short. It wasn't too difficult to at least beat the game. So yeah, I think they're going to find more ways to breathe a little bit more life and energy into the existing environments, rather than you being able to conceivably get most of everything on a single playthrough of it. So, but yeah, I for one am excited. And something else too is that we haven't even touched on, but a lot of people forget that the original game was in a way a bit of a puzzle game too. It's like, okay, how do I lure these Pokemon out, or how do I get them to this specific animation, right? So that is such a fun thing. And also, actually, to your point, John, about social media, it being big in social media, I really hope there's a built-in component based around that. There needs to be its own version of internal Miiverse. I want to be able to see your friend's stream of your friend's feed of like their pictures, and what if videos are an idea in this too? Like, what if you can take little snippets of Pokemon?
Yeah,
that would be
cool.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, we've kind of had that sort of feature. I suppose in Splatoon we can do custom messages, but yeah, just be able to see everyone's sort of pictures that are on your feed. That'd be brilliant. It kind of like gives you a little competitive edge as well. Like leaderboards are an expectation to see how many points you can get in a level, but also just competing for like the best picture with everyone on your friends list. That'd be really cool.
That would be really cool. All right. I probably should drop out. As much as I would love to talk about Pokemon forever, it's literally the only part I watch. It's literally the only part that matters. So I'm gonna drop
looking at
out.
the rest, yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna start taking a look at the analysis. So I guess I'll catch you guys later, and hope you have a good rest of your discussion. So see you, everyone.
All right. Well, yeah. While Andre goes and does that, I guess we
Pokemon Snap hype.
While Andre goes and does that, let's go ahead and move on to the rest, as the show actually began with Pokemon Smile. John, do you need to brush your teeth? Do you need help brushing your teeth? Do you need to make it a game?
I struggle every day, Derek. So I put my toothbrush in my mouth, and it just falls out. I don't know what to do with it. But with this app, I feel like I can finally understand how it works. like these kind of apps, they've existed for a while. Like I've seen so many augmented reality toothbrushing games, because they are good for kids. Kids don't always want to brush their teeth. It makes sense, but it's also not something that you go like, "Whoa, I can't believe they're doing this." It was a funny part of the presentation, but it wasn't like a mind-blowing revelation.
It's a weird way to open this thing, because it really did set my expectations. Like, yep, this is what I thought we were getting into. And then, Pokemon's done kids-based mobile apps before, but this is the first time they've done this sort of thing, as far as the augmented reality and everything like that. It is going to be brilliant to watch Sarah B try to cover this game. I mean, just catalog all the stuff that can be done in it. So that'll be a lot of fun. But otherwise, yeah, this is just for kids. It's no reason to make fun of it or anything like that. It is completely free with no in-app purchases. I don't know how they're making money off of it, but nice for them, cute for kids. moving on type thing.
That is quite admirable, though, that they would just release a free game with no monetization. It just feels like a goodwill product.
Yeah, it seems like the sort of thing that was developed in the same vein as that jump rope game that came out on the Switch, where it's just like, hey, we're all at home, we need to distract you, so here's a nice little game we did in our free time. Not a lot of worry about that. More interesting, at least from an art style perspective, is Pokemon Cafe Mix, another mobile game that's also going to be on the Switch, and a puzzle game where you run a cafe and fill orders, but the puzzle aspect is like swirling together the pieces in order to make them disappear, and they're like look like Pokemon. It looks like an utterly brain dead puzzler, if I'm going to be honest. There doesn't seem to be much strategy to it, but the art style is so good.
I've got to try it myself to really understand that, but it looks like the actual puzzle tiles, they look very similar to Pokemon Shuffle, but then the actual art style of the cafe is super cute. The gameplay itself, though, looks... I can't quite tell what it is. It looks kind of like Disney Tsum Tsum, where you kind of just line up a bunch of identical tiles, but it also looks like you're stirring them around, I guess like you're making coffee or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it's something that I agree. Like I thought of like what it was at the Poffin game in Gen 4, so could be something like that. But yeah, I mean it's a cute idea. It's a mixing, running a cafe with a puzzle and being able to upgrade your shop and have more advantages. And you can see where the the micropayments aspect comes in. It all makes sense in that aspect, but I don't see myself picking up to play it. It's just like I was watching this, like, man, that's such a cute art style, and then the rest of it is like, nah, I'm good.
It's one of those things where, yeah, it looks okay, but then Pokemon Snap came and followed it, and that's all I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah, I think that's what happened for a lot of people with a lot of this. I mean, I haven't played Pokemon Go in a while, but I hope people who played are excited for Mega Evolution. I mean, I don't want to say anything because, obviously there is still a player base for that, but I'm not sure what it'll exactly bring for people.
Mega Evolution's one of those weird things. Like, every generation has its kind of gimmick now. Like, we had like Z moves in Sun and Moon. We have Dynamaxing in Sword and Shield. And I think Mega Evolution's one thing where the fan base has kind of stuck around for it. I'm always seeing people complaining about Dynamaxing, but then be like, yeah, Mega Evolution, even though it's pretty much the same concept. But it's a little bit strange to bring it back now, though. It feels like that's kind of a done gimmick.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's also like, hey, we have these forms, we need to get these forms into Pokemon Go as we're slowly just catching up with what the current Pokemon is. So I guess that makes sense from that aspect. And a lot of, I don't think any of the Mega Evolutions were of any Gen 6 Pokemon, so it works out for them because it's all old Pokemon which they already have, which kind of builds into that whole thing.
That's true. Yeah. I found that Z moves were just a more... an easier going replacement to Mega Evolution. You don't got to deal with the animation every time. It's just a quick and flashy move, but people have their preferences.
Yeah, I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to each, but hey, great addition for Pokemon Go fans, and they can enjoy that, and a nice little celebration for the whole Pokemon Isle of Armor DLC coming out. We got a Zeraora event for people where this mythical Pokemon is actually going to be showing up in raid battles, which is a really cool chance to catch that. But even better is that if 1 million players defeat it within, I think 11-day time span, everybody gets a shiny version of it, which, that's actually pretty cool as far as mythical events go.
Yeah, great way to bring the community together too, like just incentivizing everyone to work together. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very nice, just a little extra thing. I'd like to see that happen more with it. The raid battles are great for that sort of thing, I think, to get people involved and come back and play the game for a bit and do all of that. But yeah, it was kind of at this point where we got the sense that there really wasn't much to this presentation beyond Pokemon Snap. The other stuff was neat, is basically the best way to put it, or interesting ideas. But here's the weird thing. There's another presentation coming out on the 24th, a week from now. Why?
Yeah, that's so strange. I guess they just want to mix them up, but I mean, Detective Pikachu Switch was announced over a year ago now, and we have not seen that game.
Was that
So
was that actually announced? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, they announced that the next chapter was going to be on Switch, just in passing during one of, I think it was the Pokemon conference last year. So it was confirmed, but they never actually showed us what it looked like.
I completely forgot that.
Yeah, and it was vague too, because they said Detective Pikachu's coming to Switch, and the terms were vague whether it was going to be a port or a sequel, but I'm pretty sure they also said it's the next chapter. So at least it's either going to be an expanded port or a full-out sequel.
I guess we'll see, but I mean that makes the most sense about what it could be. But I guess that's one way to keep people's interest, is just keep that going. I guess they could. I mean, it seems too early for them to reveal the release date of Crown Tundra, especially so soon after Isle of Armor.
Yeah,
So,
one thing that came into my head when they said that the presentation's next week is, what if there's, and I don't think this is going to be the case, but what if there's a new mainline game coming? Because I think it would be a terrible idea to announce a new mainline game on the day of your DLC release. But like, what if there's a new Let's Go game coming later this year, and they're just trying to spread it out a little bit after the what's it called? I've already forgotten the DLC name. The Isle of Armor.
Yeah. I mean, that's possible. I mean, it could be a Let's Go game. It could be a if people want their Gen 4 remake. Could be that. Who knows? I think the most likely option is Detective Pikachu, though, unless like they really throw us for a loop with all these fan requests for sequels, and I get a Pokemon Conquest 2. So
yeah, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, I love that game. Just cross over with the Fire Emblem instead of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and we're good.
I will reiterate though, I don't think there's going to be a mainline game this year. I'm pretty sure the DLC is this year's Pokemon game.
Absolutely. We won't hear anything about the next Pokemon game until next year. I'm pretty sure.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, keep the focus on the DLC, have all the smaller titles come out, and be set that way. Yeah, any other things to say about this Pokemon presentation beyond Hallelujah, Pokemon Snap 2 was a thing?
I mean, that's it for me. I'm just processing that Pokemon Snap is finally a thing, because I think in every predictions, even if it's just if it's a general direct, if it's a Pokemon direct, there is always someone in our cast that says Pokemon Snap. And I think we've slowed down recently because we've been saying it for so long that it just doesn't feel like it was going to happen. And then out of nowhere, here it is, and it looks better than I ever could have pictured it looking.
Yeah, it's well beyond, because I had those N64 graphics in my head, so it's like, what could it look like? And you just stop kind of thinking about it. But yeah, the one time I downplayed a Pokemon Snap, it came out. So there you go.
You're welcome, everyone.
Yep. Stop hoping for things that'll come true. Yes, I don't know. That seems like a terrible lesson.
Yeah.
But alright, I think that covers it for our Pokemon presentation / Pokemon Snap discussion, so thank you for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, and of course be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye.